Hey, this is Al from Transformational Gaming. Appreciate you coming by. Appreciate you coming to the channel. Today, I want to talk about this man, the man of God of War, the most creative dude that you'll probably find in the industry. And that's our man, David Jaffe. I want to talk about 3 points he made. I just want to kind of go through it real quick. So, Microsoft and Sony going about buying different companies and stuff. They just now bought Bluepoint. I want to talk about that. Microsoft's management issues, which I've talked about numerous times on this channel. And lastly, I want to talk about Game Pass. Before I do get into it, I want to ask you guys to please subscribe to the channel, but check your subscriptions. It seems like I randomly lose subscribers at some point, and so every subscriber counts. I still have my goal for 200 subscribers, and so yeah, support that. Subscribe to the channel, like the channel, comment in the comment section. All right, so here we go. One of the things that Jaffe talked about was Microsoft and Sony going about acquiring talent. Now, before I go into this, I want to give you kind of a backstory that's going on, because as you know, Colin Moriarty and David Jaffe has recently become friends. Moriarty made a podcast and they had a discussion on that podcast, and one of the things they was talking about is these 3 topics, and Jaffe felt like he had to respond to them, which is okay. I felt compelled, and there's nothing like being kind of compelled and kind of motivated is the word I'm looking for, and responding to things that may go on in the gaming industry, because really you just hate to see people being taken advantage of, and that's kind of the place I'm coming from. But back to this Microsoft and Sony acquiring talent. This was a situation that I kind of agreed with Colin on. And I think that Jaffe's wrong, but I think he's wrong out of trying to toe the line between Microsoft and Sony. Okay, I think like he's really trying to toe the line, and usually when you toe the line, you're gonna be hated by a lot of people. I mean, it's like both sides of the coin is going to condemn you. But the good thing about Jaffe is that, man, Jaffe is a giant in this industry, man. He's a straight up giant, man. And so his opinions and his thoughts, man, carry a lot of weight, which is why Phil Spencer blocked him. But getting to the point of the matter, yeah, man, I'm inclined to agree with Colin on that, because he's saying rather, okay, Sony and Microsoft has to throw money around in order to acquire talent. Okay, and that's the way both of them do it. They may do it differently, or they may implement their acquisitions differently, but at the end of the day, they're basically doing the same thing. And I just disagree with that, because again, Sony just acquired Bluepoint. Sony and Bluepoint have a relationship. Okay, people are running away from Microsoft. Like I truly believe, and like I said, look, man, I don't have any core evidence, but just the way stuff has happened with the guy coming out and saying that he's sorry Starfield was not going to be on PlayStation, and then having to walk that back. Like, when I see stuff like that, I'm like, man, I know I'm right about the situation. And the real issue is that you kind of see it here with Jaffe, is that companies are running away from Microsoft. And it's not necessarily about the management. It's about the heavy-handedness that they use in the development process. Now, they'll go about and say, hey, you know, and sometimes I think it's a slap at me, but they'll say, hey, you know, Microsoft gave us total autonomy when making this game, and this, that, and the third, and how much freedom they have at Microsoft. But I'm telling you, Bethesda did not want to get bought. Like they did not want to get bought. I'm telling you, they did not want to get bought. My theory, and I could be wrong, but they allowed ZeniMax to acquire them, so that would not be appealing to Microsoft in acquiring them. It's my thought, it's my theory, but I don't know exactly how Bethesda became about as a company. I don't have the history of Bethesda, but for them to be under ZeniMax when they didn't necessarily have to be, like, Bethesda's a big company. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to be under anybody. They can definitely survive on their own. Honestly, I really believe that. Microsoft been wanting to buy Bethesda for a long time. They've been trying. I've heard it for years. When Bethesda got bought, that wasn't the first time I heard of it. Like, I've heard it like 2007, 2008, like in those days, they was trying to acquire Bethesda. So the point being is that people are running away from Microsoft, and it's the heavy-handedness. Like, you see it in the third parties. You know, these games got to be a certain way. You know, they have to always be close to 4K. Just look better than the PlayStation. So Digital Foundries can do these side by sides and blow up the picture 500%. You know, they can look like the better console. But I don't understand what their thoughts are, because people are not buying that. The reason why Lost Judgment sold more on PlayStation, and this is just the real deal, the reason why it sold more on PlayStation is that more people have a PlayStation, okay? So since the differential between the graphics is so minuscule, people are just buying it on PlayStation because they have exclusive. The PlayStation, Sony, brass, their company has the best exclusives, and that's the real deal. They have the exclusives. They have all the games that they want, plus the third parties, okay? And so people are naturally gravitating to the PlayStation to purchase these games. So I disagree with him. I agree with Colin. Sony is not just having a relationship with these guys. Shu may make a suggestion. They know Shu is a game fan. Like, he played these games. He's a fan of these games, and he plays these games. He has a great temperature of what these games are supposed to look like and how they're supposed to play. And Jim Ryan, I'm not sure what his role there is, but I guarantee you that when a suggestion is being made, it's strictly about how is this game going to get better. Okay, well, in contrast to Microsoft, what they're going to do is force you to do some type of crazy 4K, and long as the game runs better on their platform, they're satisfied. And really, it's not about that. It's about how much fun you're going to have on the game, instead of worrying about the competition, trying to get that thing to look better on Microsoft's platform, and, you know, compromising the game in some instances, especially in the performance column. So for number 2, which is my second point, Microsoft's management. Microsoft's management does tie in and overlap with number 1. I totally agree with that. And the real issue with the management, I'm not sure exactly who's the manager and all these people in Microsoft's camp, but I do know that Phil Spencer is a really big problem. Like, since he's got there, now I'm not saying that he's not influenced by the shareholders and stuff like that, okay? But since he's got there, and everybody likes to say, hey, you know, he's done this and done that, man, Phil Spencer has torpedoed, straight up torpedoed the games division at Microsoft. Before he got there, at least they was competing with Sony, especially in the PS3 era. But since he's gotten there, he's come out with 2 consoles. He was there at the beginning when they was releasing the Xbox One X, and now he's here with the Series X and the Series S. And both of those consoles, he's presided over 3 consoles already, and the sales for those consoles are still torpedoing, and he knows that. That's why they're not releasing data for it. They know that. They know that those sales are torpedoed and they're making less money, which is bringing me to my last point, Game Pass. Now let me tell you my psychology. I know Jaffe told us about his psychology or whatever, but here's my psychology for it. Video games is what they call a pastime. That means that when you're bored or when you're not doing anything, video games is a good way to make the time go by. And so really, when we purchase a game, really those companies should be paying us, because our time is the most valuable thing that you have. Okay? And so since you're playing this game to make the time go by, to me, a $60 or $70 game, that's just tipping the developers more so than, trying to prevent people who can't afford it to not have it. To me, it's just a tip to the developers, man, for making us a great game that we're going to enjoy. And that's why having games available for free is a big mistake, because what you're doing is you're watering down the engine that creates people to purchase a game. And when you water that down, then people are not going to buy these games. And it's similar to what he was saying. I think it's more than just people are having a bunch of games. It's more than that. It's just people are giving two resources to a developer. They're giving their time and they're giving their money. And let me tell you, you better be entertaining somebody when you are given these two mediums of money and time, because those are very, very precious hours that you're never going to get back. At least with a movie, you can be done with it in 2 hours. Maybe you watch again for 4 hours. But video games, you can sink hours and hours and hours of time into. And if the ending is not satisfactory, you just wasted 40, 50 hours. So it's a different scenario to me. I think our conclusions are the same, but I would disagree with him when it comes to Game Pass. Like, Game Pass shows that people want more out of games than just the ability to purchase them. They want more than that. And it's not about all this, people just got so many games to play, or people just don't want to. No, people don't care about the money. They care about the experiences that they're going to get in the game, and they want to be satisfied. But anyway, I think I've talked on long enough. I appreciate you guys so much. Please do continue to support the channel. The channel is growing. I'll make more of these videos because, man, David Jaffe, man, he's an entertaining dude, man. He really sticks himself out there, man. And, but I do think he wants to get back into the gaming industry, but I think he want to do it on his terms. And so when you in the game industry, it's all about those relationships. And, he's towing the line, and I'm not mad at him for that. But, here we absolutely must tell the truth about what's going on. And to me, his perspective is, okay, I got to make both of these guys happy. And that's what we don't need. So anyway, comment, like, subscribe to the page. It's Al from Transformational Gaming, and we are out.